Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over. I believe this is episode number 35. Hey, Jeff, how are you today?
Good, thank you. It's always a wonder. We've got plenty of things to talk about on this show, but I can never figure out what to respond to. How are you today? Rather than saying fine. So anyway, might come up with something else.
I could ask, how you doing today, Jeff? And you go 4,228.
Yeah, well, if
and
you
that's
say
what
in
you
German,
spent that week on gear. So
in German, you say, how are you going? It's einfach großartig. It's simply great.
I'm simply great.
Well,
yep.
So that means great, but anyway.
Yep. All right. Well, let's enjoy our Fahrvergnügen. Of course, that has nothing to do with anything, but that's about one of the few words I know in German.
Our traveling pleasure, because it's yes.
That's true. Here's our intro before I forget, before I mess it up. And we are back. So, Jeff, this week was a pretty good week in tech. It seems every week is a pretty good week in new releases in tech and gear. And I think my wallet is on strike. It says, don't open me anymore. I've had it. No more. There's a lot of stuff that's good out there.
Well, it gets to the stage, though, fortunately enough, that there's so much there that you can't possibly buy it all, so you end up buying nothing. So it's only when there's a couple of choice things that really gets me, because I think I'm looking at it, think, oh, should I? I should just buy the damn thing, because I know I'm going to buy it, but I just have 6 weeks worth of hell thinking whether I should get it or not. And you end up getting it anyway.
And of course, the problem is once you buy it, the new release comes out, and you go, no, wait, I just bought this.
That's the thing, is if you buy it straight away, at least you don't have that regret until about 4 months after. But if you wait, as soon as you get it, they'll release a new one next week. So
it's interesting. I was looking at all the new releases from Canon, and I noticed that some of them looked really good. Not Canon, I'm sorry, Sony. They have the new A7R. And then I'm reading some of the other reviews, and they're not great. They're okay. And they're still not doing as much as what Panasonic has done. So it was interesting. I got all excited. I go, wait a minute, this isn't exactly what we really. Is it worth $3,000 for a camera? I don't know. I don't think so. But it is nice. Sony's putting out some pretty good products, and it looks like the only people competing in the whole industry right now are Sony and Panasonic, and the other ones are all going, hello, 1080p camera, and everybody goes, yes, right, but we have 4K. But I have 1080p. Yes, I know, and 4K. We're 4 times better. We do 1280 slow motion, 4K slow motion. Yes, but we have bigger lenses. We have adapters. Your lenses work just as well. Oh, I mean, what do you do? It's a tough one. I'm almost scared to buy any new cameras, because I go, well, if I buy it, there's going to be a new one coming out next. So I'm holding off right now to see if there's a GH5 on the way.
Well, at least, though, with the cameras, though, when you do buy them, it's not like your computer where it sits in the basement and gathers dust. The cameras are still just as good as like my Canon 60D, still just as good as anything else out there, because it's more so up to you to take a good picture.
That's true.
It's just some of the other things that make it is, like the video on it's a bit harder because you have to know what you're doing, whereas the 70 came along and it had a bit more manual auto operations, I should say, for the focusing on the camera and that. But the camera, in fact, is still the same.
Oh, sure.
But I agree with you that a lot of them seem to be trying to catch up with Panasonic by the look of it, because the one was looking at that the A7 Sony.
Yes,
they said it's a great, but it looks to me like it's going to try to be a competitor to the G4,
right,
like
at double the price.
Well, and the price was about $3,200.
I know.
Well, it's about $1,000 dearer than the Panasonic, is it?
Almost $1,400.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing is with this one, it claims to be with it said in the 42 point, well, not it is a 42.4 megapixel photos.
Yeah.
With an ISO of what is it, 102,000?
20,000, I thought, or 102. It's enormous.
102,000. It was really really big, and that. Yeah. And it's also it still had the 120 frame, the high frame thing, but only at 720p.
I know. Can you believe it? I mean, Panasonic's doing 95, I think, or 96 frames, per second on the slow motion, but you get no audio.
But the thing I've found, I don't know about you, but I've done some filming on the Canon that's just on 60 frames a second. Mm-hmm. And then when you put it through and you can slow it down, that still comes up pretty good.
It does. I mean, we're all splitting hairs over really good stuff. And, but ultimately, it's just what you prefer and what you like. I still like the feel of the Canon cameras. They feel nice and solid in your hand. I take out my 70D at home and I do shots with it, and it just feels good. It's just that it doesn't have some of the features. I'll tell you, I wish Panasonic would learn how to do better menus. I hate their menus. I really don't like the way they look. They're hard to read outside because they just don't have enough contrast. Whereas the Canons are really clean, and even the Sony menus look better than Panasonic. So I think from that point of view, they give you like 3 lousy choices of color schemes, and they're all pretty crappy. Give me a darker one. Give me something that I can see outside without glare, and that has, not 42 screens to go deep into. That's a little tricky. So I actually do like Panasonic and Sony menus. I'm sorry, Canon and Sony menus. Even the Nikon menus are pretty nice compared to Panasonic. So I think you've got a great camera with the Panasonics, but personally, and it's all taste when it comes to this, I find the Panasonic menus this side of crappy.
But that's why with the video camera, at least with the HCX 1000, one thing I like with that, because with the viewfinder you can actually, cup it over your eye, and at least you can see something.
That's right.
Whereas on the LCD on most cameras, it's pretty pathetic. You just can't.
You can't. Not outside. Not outside. And you can get hood mounts and stuff, but it's not the same, and they come off easily too. You have to be careful.
And plus, once you start getting that, you can't just whip it out and start filming, and that's the whole point with most of these things. We're here for point and shoot. We're not, most of the time, you're not setting up a film shoot. You just want to get something quickly. By the time you get set up, it's down well gone. I know I've done a few things. I'll get that out. Oh, it's gone now.
That's right.
And if you just want to get it out, it's just wrong. On that that Sony camera, though, it says it's the first... the first full frame?
Yes.
Was it mirrorless? Is it first?
I think it is mirrorless. Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
I was just going to say, because it has to be something to say it's a.
Well, the shutter has to be on its way out. I mean, do we really need a shutter anymore? I don't think so.
Well, the only thing is, I do like to be able to just look straight through and not looking at an LCD screen sometimes. True. That's what I like. But let's face it, with all these DSLRs, what's a lot of things that people do is video, and what's the thing it does? It just holds the mirror up all the time.
That's
and
true.
Go through the, what's the point? But as I said, for true photography, you probably still need it, but I like that. But they should have something where you've got maybe the option, but a lot of the time, the like that FZ 1000, just looking through the viewfinder, that's really acceptable. The LCD on that's really good quality, and I don't have a problem with that taking a picture through that. But as I said, if you're really into your photography, you'll have both. You'll have that.
That's true.
Takeaway when you need something a bit more portable, but when you need something a bit more artistic, you'd have your proper camera.
That's true. Now
and
we've got
let's see. The camera, it's the way the photographer frames the shot, and that usually makes it.
Okay, so now we've got some products to talk about. So what do we have first?
Well, the first one I was just put on there, as I said, about the Windows 10 release coming up in BUSIEST, 29th of July. I don't know about you, but I did have an automated message on my machine the other week, says, do you want to upgrade to Windows 10? And you say yes. And said, yes, well, you put in a queue.
See, now,
as soon as it's released, we'll put it out to you.
Now, I haven't gotten that yet, but I have a theory that Australia is the test bench for this. So you guys get it automatically. If it explodes, they'll go, all right, we only ruined about 30 million people, so we're okay. Let's let the rest of the world have it now.
Well, that's right.
I don't know.
Right. And so I put it on my machine. I really didn't care too much about it. So I thought, well, if it does, but it hasn't gone there. But I thought, well, I'll wait for it to come out. But I'm really getting excited for that to come out. And one of the things it was saying on there, it was bragging about that a lot of these operating systems now of late, they only work for things that are developed for it and nothing backwards. And a lot of them are getting like that. Say you can't use this, you can't. Whereas this one, it's
fully backwards.
And 10 says that you can even open Office 95 on it.
Interesting.
So So I thought, well, that's good.
Well, I have to admit, one thing nice
old
about
XP people,
and there was something nice about Office 95. You could actually read the interface. That was nice in those days.
Yeah, and it was said they get better and better, but then they crammed so much more into words. You sometimes pining for the old days of
just give me a couple of icons. It's all on one screen and it's easy. But anyway,
and most of the people who use Office, you know, even the ones that said, "Oh, I'm an expert in Office," well, they might use a page break instead of scrolling down. That's how much of an expert they get. But they don't use. They don't use, 90% of. I did run into somebody who used Excel, and I said, "What are you doing there?" And they had a calculator out, and they were adding up cells top to bottom, right to left. I said,
God.
"Do you know what Excel is?" Well, you put all these figures. I said, "No, it actually adds things up." And they said, "Oh, really?" And I said, "Yeah." There was using pretty much like a pen and paper, but on the screen.
Well, that reminds me of the old joke about how many programmers does it take to paint a house?
How many?
1,001. One to hold a brush and the 1,000 to lift the house up and down.
Well, that's right. So very, very, very strange.
Yes, how many programmers does it take to put in a light bulb?
How many?
None. That's a hardware problem.
Oh, okay. I must admit, I did have where my mum's living at the moment. Would change the light bulb, and oh no, you couldn't do that. It's a tradesman's job. So yeah, so she had to sit halfway in darkness for a few days with just a normal side light because it was too hard a job to change. But some of the things we're getting in this world that you have to be qualified to change a light bulb. Whoa.
It's amazing. Now we've got one here. This is on a new wireless mic system from the folks down under, Rode.
Oh, Rode.
And this is the Rode Filmmaker kit. It's the RODELink, I believe is what the mic is called. And this is the Rode Filmmaker kit. Take a look.
Continuing Rode's mission to provide premium performance products at an accessible price, the RODELink system will be one of the most affordable wireless solutions on the market. RODELink utilizes a Series 2 2.4 GHz 128-bit encrypted digital transmission, which constantly monitors and hops between frequencies to select the strongest signal. The system then transmits a very strong signal at the selected frequency, unlike other devices in the 2.4 GHz spectrum. What this means is that RODELink maintains rock-solid reliability even in the busiest 2.4 GHz environments and ensures that your audio is just as reliable and secure as a cable connection. On top of this next-generation digital transmission, RODELink also has the best signal-to-noise and the longest range of any product in its class. It provides a high-resolution 24-bit 44.1 kHz digital transmission, giving you lossless audio transmission at a range of up to 100 meters. The Filmmaker kit contains the RODELink belt pack transmitter and camera-mounted receiver, in addition to Rode's revered broadcast-grade lavalier microphone. The belt pack transmitter features a 3-stage simple gain adjustment that can be set in seconds. A mute lock function prevents accidental muting of the signal from the transmitter, and a locking 3.5mm input ensures that body-worn microphones are as secure as they possibly can be. The camera-mounted receiver has a removable hot shoe mount, enabling it to be used both on camera and as a belt pack receiver, perfect for audio professionals running dual system audio. A mute override function gives complete control to the operator, while the mute status, input level and battery status of both the transmitter and receiver are displayed on the front of the unit. The receiver also features the same 3.5mm locking output connector as the transmitter, providing the greatest possible cable security. Both the belt pack transmitter and the camera mount receiver can be powered by any USB power source using a standard micro USB cable, significantly expanding the power options for both units, whether through a mains power source or a portable power bank. The system offers 8 discrete channels that can be easily set up in seconds, with over 8,000 different channel combinations available. Channel selection and pairing couldn't be more simple, with one press operation and automatic scanning on each unit, significantly reducing the setup times required by traditional UHF wireless systems. 20 years ago, Rode revolutionized the home recording experience. 10 years ago, Rode did the same again in the video category. Now the time is right for a revolution in wireless audio capabilities. Now, is the time for RODELink.
Yes.
You know, Rode always, I think all roads lead to Rode. They just seem to. I've bought a lot of mics throughout the last probably 15 years, and some of my favorites are still pretty much the Rodes. They're consistent, they're good, and they always come out with interesting new things. And what I like about this particular set of wireless, unlike the Sennheisers, for example, which we have, I think these only cost about $3.99, if I'm not wrong, for a set. Which isn't bad. That's not a bad price. That's more along the lines of some of the Shures and everything. But it finds its own channels.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
Because it takes a long time when you're outside in the field trying to figure out what channel you're with, looking at very teeny numbers and pressing buttons that big fingers don't have an easy time pressing. And this one just finds itself.
And it said, was it 2.4 gigahertz?
Yes.
And that's the higher one that not a lot of them are using. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So it's not having much interference. Now, with that one, I was seeing on the, I couldn't hear the sound, but it looks like some of the higher priced Sennheiser ones. It looks like does that draw its power from the mini USB cable? It said
it can, but it also has. I believe there are two AA's.
Two AA, because I know one of the ones we was looking at in, was it the Shure or Sennheiser? I can't remember, but one of the great things with that, you could connect it to your XLR mic connector, and it would use the phantom power from that.
Right.
So you wouldn't have to put power on the transmitting unit.
Right.
Because that's another thing that you always get. Yes, you've got your AA batteries, but not everybody's like you. I know you've got a whole section with all the batteries, because the first thing you do when you get to a shoot, all the batteries will be flat.
That's right.
So you've got boxes of them already prepared. So what you need, because that's what a lot of people forget.
And you never have the battery you need. It's like cables, right? When you want the one battery you're out of, it's like, I need it. Great. No matter how many hundreds of cables you have, that one weird cable is not the one you have when you need it. But the Rode looks like a very nice. If you go and look at the B&H videos from a couple of weeks back, you'll see that they cover this one, and the guy does a test on it, and he is at the other end of the store. You could see him really small in the camera. It sounds beautiful. And that's with a lot of electronics in that store, and probably an old building with a lot of metal. It just sounds great. So very nice device by Rode, the RODELink. I think one of these days we're probably going to get one just to have as an additional one, because that one you don't really need to be an expert at figuring out what channel you're on. You need to do a quick shot, put it on the camera, boom, you're done. That's nice.
Now with that, Rick, would you be able to, like I've got my little Tascam digital recorder. I knew you did have one for 5 minutes, but I think you sent yours back. You didn't like it because of the display. But you'd be able to connect something to to that and just use the wireless and record on your digital recorder.
You could absolutely,
because they do a great recording job, but they're just bulky to hold. So you could have that just sat around and sync it with your camera. And do that. So I think I might even try one of them. So you said around about the $400.
I believe they were in the 400 mark, which is really not bad considering what you get. That's a pretty good price, and Rodes are solid. And I think it comes with the Smart Lav, which I think by itself is about $100 something or $200. I forgot what it costs. So you do. Oh, it'll also work with. I don't know if you have this one, but it works with the HS1 headset as well, which means it'll work with with the OSP HS09.
Yes, it will, because I've used one of those before. I'm sure it would do, because it's just you've got the same sort of connection on that. So
so if you're out in the field, filming, you could actually film and do all of that with your mic with just an ear set on. It would be so comfortable, and you would get absolutely awesome audio.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I find with these cordless setup and with those lavs, you can be out out and about, and the wind's howling a gale, and you hardly hear anything on that. So
that's true.
They're really just so directional, but it just cuts down anything.
What they have is a white filter. It just filters out everything they say as it's coming in. It's amazing.
But like on my cameras, a lot of people put, like, we've got the NTG2, the boom mic. I've stopped putting that on the camera, because no matter what, unless you're 2 inches in front to do any good, and any further away, it still gets the wind noise. So you're better off having a cordless mic, just having the better quality sound. And I did get that Smart Lav onto the iPhone, and on my recording, it did a great job out and about in the wind. But when I'm inside in here,
it's incredible.
It's still got a lot of background noise.
Oh, it does?
Like it as much. Yeah, it's okay for outside because it's giving you a 50% better quality than you would be getting outside. But when you're in something like here, where it's quiet,
yep.
It's
well, the
still
smart now. Do you have the
time.
Smart Lav 2? Because the Smart Lav 1 had issues. The Smart Lav 2, they fixed up a lot of that.
Well, I might just go for the other one and
I had the same problem. I had the Smart Lav 1 and I hated it. The Smart Lav 2 I don't have yet, but I know people who have it, and they said it sounds great because they fixed it. And it may have had to do with the connector, with the 3.5 millimeter connector, which is a noisy connector anyway. So that could have been part of the problem. Now, you have something else you wanted to cover, right? Another different product?
Well, I did have. There was another one that I think it was OWC having a Thunderbolt 3 adapter with the new USB-C on a single port.
Interesting.
So, that's the right thing in there, and it supports up to a dual 4K display at 60 hertz.
Huh.
And I thought, gee, they're coming out with some fantastic things, and I suppose in a few years' time, everyone's going to have all this USB-C. So
it's going to happen. Give it another year or so.
And at the moment with this USB-C, you're spending $80 just to have one of them that has a power and like another USB connection.
Interesting.
So something like this, I think it's going to be about $150 or something.
Right.
That's really good. And being able to do the twin display port. But as I said, I'm still looking for that one for the 2 Thunderbolts. I've come up with an idea how to get that second Thunderbolt.
Well, Asus has
cable,
one.
Rick.
Asus has a new. Asus LG, I believe, has a new 34-inch. It's really big, but it's a 34-inch monitor that supports the. It's a cinema monitor. It supports Apple. It has 2 Thunderbolts serial, so you could connect quite a few things into it. In and out, I believe. It is a serial connection though, so it's not 2 separate devices. Just you have to connect another one into it, and it just continues the flow. It's nice. The reviews are good. It is large, but it's a weird aspect ratio, 21:9. And a lot of people are saying, yeah, it's great, but if you have to go down to actually see some things, then you have constant columns on the side and top, so that may not be good. Speaking of monitors, I think we have one on the Samsung 32-inch we just got.
I was going to say, I think we've got that.
It's a very short one, but here we... Oh, it's an image. We have an image of it.
Image.
So let's show the image of it.
So have you taken delivery of it yet?
We did. I've been working with it probably about 3-4 hours already, and I actually love it. It's very clean, very sharp. It doesn't seem to make my eyes very tired in terms of brightness. It's very bright, but the colors are nice. They're pretty smooth. I'm running right now in 1440 mode. I tried it in 2500. Very, very sharp in 2500. Very clean. And the fonts were pretty big. At 32 inches, everything looks pretty large. And it's only $599, so it's not that expensive for what you get. Good, and it's interesting. I got that over the 4K monitor. I have one 4K monitor, and I found out one thing about 4K. If you're working in 4K, it's not a very productive mode to be working with, including 5K. It's really, really small. I mean, your fonts are teeny. You'd have to make everything super large in order to really see things. And a lot of people with the 4K workflows are complaining. It's good for video editing to see the video, not so much to actually edit it, because, again, really small. You'd have to make your tracks big and everything else really big because, you know, what you use as a normal 12 or 14-point font looks like it's about 6-point on. That's pretty tiring if you're working on that all day. And I've been reading reports that the 2500s really are a better productivity monitor for just working on a normal basis. So if you take those large monitors, the 4Ks, and bring them down to 2500, then why bother buying a 4K? So I'm thinking...
Well, I think for the normal, say, Windows things, I don't think there's a big advantage. But I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way Apple do it with their 5K monitor, yes, you're getting the high resolution, but they do something that tricks it so it doesn't make the fonts super duper small. So when you're doing your editing, it brings up your quality there. But because technically, with their 5K monitor, everything's going to be that small.
Right.
There. But
they probably did something internal to make fonts larger.
And that's what they do. But the thing is, you can't drive in. You've got to have that machine, because that's why it works so well, because it's designed with that machine, where all these other ones, well, it says I can do it, but hey, I can only do what you give it.
If you have at least a 4 gigabyte video card, you can run anything on them. Most of them can run 8K right now. So on a 4K, you won't notice it. But I tell you, to me, the 2500 seemed more useful. At 32 inches. At a 34, I like the idea of 34. That's really big, though. And you've got an issue because most of those are 21:9 aspect ratio. So again, you're seeing nothing standard. Things don't fit right in it. Now, if you have applications or games that work with very large screens, wow. It looks like you're in the middle of a movie with the game. But not all the games support that. And not all the movies support it. There are some movies that do and a lot don't. And the other thing is, they said when you do watch many movies, you wind up, remember the old days, everything cropped? So when you made it the right size, it still cropped part of the heads off and part of the feet. And it just, so you still have that issue. So it's a very odd aspect ratio. I suspect it won't be around as a norm for many, many years to come. A lot of people are complaining about them. And they are all, at this point, IPS screens, which means there's a lot of bleeding through on the blacks. So your blacks are not as black as they could be.
With that aspect ratio, did you see the latest thing? What's that latest Jurassic, not Park, what is it, Jurassic Land or something? The latest Jurassic Park film.
Okay, no.
There's been a lot of, because it's been released now, and there's that's got a funny aspect ratio, and there's a lot of cinemas that don't know what to do with it, and then they're cropping it, so people are missing out. It's cropping the
it might be 21:9. It might be that new 21:9 thing.
I think it is 21:9. As I said, there's no problem, but they said in the old days where you had projectionists, they would set it up correctly. Said, but now you've got probably a 19-year-old who presses a button, and so it's all it's all the same. Whereas but as I said, that's having the problem. It says you'll notice if the heads get cut off a little bit, and it said, and that's usually the whole point of the film. That makes the scene when you just see that little tip of the head or something, you've got to have it. So it can make a big difference. So it's not just on computer monitors that they're having the
it's
issues
everywhere
with the aspect ratio.
Now, you're familiar with the Roku and the Apple TV. Well, I just learned of a new one that actually looks really cool. I don't know how new it is. There may have been previous versions, but this is pretty cool, and it's kind of exciting. It is called the NVIDIA Shield.
Oh.
NVIDIA Shield. I think we have a video on it, right?
This is the NVIDIA Shield. And this is how you play TV.
While we're dancing, dancing to the rhythm of the plastic anthem. Dancing while they're preaching the plastic anthem.
I want that one.
Well, the thing is with here though, Rick, we're just getting into the Apple TV. That's about all we have. We've never seen Roku, and I think when the changing over our internet things to the NBN, the National Broadband Network, because like here I'm on ADSL2 and it says, what is it, 20 is it megabytes or megabits per second?
Yep.
Megabit. It says 20 megabits per second. Up to, and that's the optimal word, up to. So I'm lucky if I get 8. 8 up and 0.8 down. No, 0.8 up and, I'm sure about 5 or 6 down. And so with this NBN, you can have a lower plan, but at least you'll get guaranteed nearly 12.
Oh, okay.
So, but when you're getting that, and that's what I'm in the dilemma for. But of course, I want the 100,
Right.
100 down and 25 up, which is going to cost me about $100 a month. But you've got, you want that. But these sort of, once we get more of those, these sort of things are really going to
they'll just take off like crazy. And the nice thing about the nice thing about this one, it streams 4K. So if you have YouTube videos or if you have a 4K monitor, it'll do that. It does Netflix and Pandora and everything else, and it's also voice activated, which is cool. So you could just it's an Android TV basically. It ties into whatever TV you have. It is also a gaming console where you can rent games directly online or buy them directly online, and then play the game you want. And then when you're done, you're just done. You can buy movies online. You can do the whole thing. It's a pretty cool device. It's a little more expensive than the Roku and the Apple TV at about $199 for the non-Pro version, which only has, I think, 16 gigabytes of storage. The Pro version we were looking at, I believe that has 500 gigabytes of storage, so you could put the games on, put everything else you want on without much of an issue. But it looks nice, and it's got a very fast Tegra processor inside of it to run these things. Not to mention, it just streams very clean, clear quality, better than the other two.
One thing I really like with the Roku, and I don't know if anything else has got it, but when seeing yours there, is the headphone socket on the remote control.
Yes.
That's quite unique, isn't it? Yep. So you can I would love to be able to get one of them for my mother, so she had a bit hard of hearing, but if she had something like clicking the headphones into that, it'd make it so much easier. But these things are just fantastic. As I said, streaming the 4K, but it still worries me of if everybody gets it when they're all streaming 4K. Well, I'm sure that all our speeds will go down sooner or later if they don't improve the quality. But it must be working, because or else it wouldn't be advertising this knowing that nobody will be able to get it, because people would just get annoyed so quickly if it didn't work.
I know,
so
it supposedly works very well. Now, what else do we have today?
Well, also before
Lightroom. You had something on Lightroom.
Sorry, on Lightroom, there was just got a hazing tool, a dehazing tool. So what you've got on, there, there's a Terry White does about a 50-second little video on that.
I think we have that, right?
I've had.
Yeah, let's show that video. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Terry White, worldwide design and photography evangelist for Adobe, and it's my pleasure to give you a sneak peek at a new technology coming soon to Lightroom CC. It's called the Dehaze tool. It helps you easily reduce or remove haze common in many outdoor photos like landscapes. With a single slider, you can easily remove excess haze to recover the color and detail and contrast of an image. You can also use it to increase the haze for a more dramatic artistic effect. So for example, in this photo, I can actually add haze to it, or I can remove the haze from it to make it more dramatic. So that's just an example of how you can use Dehaze to make your photos look better. And again, it's coming soon to Lightroom CC.
Wow, that was a beautiful shot.
And I've done a few things like that where you get a bit of haze with a bit of mist in the background, and I thought, gee, that's but such a simple little tool. It really makes a big difference to it, doesn't it?
So that's the one that just came out, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's actually there yet. I think it's something that they're putting out, and he's just sort of.
Are you sure? Because I got some sort of update for Lightroom the other day, but I haven't even looked at it. It just uploaded, but I haven't done anything with it.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's in there.
I'm sure that's still waiting to come on there. But it's just amazing all the different things they've got. And also, when I was looking at that, for some reason, I turned my machine on. And have you looked at iMovie lately?
No, I haven't.
No, they've upgraded it, and I just went there, and they've got some great little things that you can do in there with trailers and all that on there. And I just had a little play and created something on mine. So can you switch to mine? So I want to see if you can see this one on mine.
On your side?
Me on.
Here you go. You're on right now.
Yeah, onto my full screen. You should see a big black screen. See if you can hear this anyway. Let's see if...
That's pretty cool.
And I've just thought that was just in. It took me about 10 minutes to do that in iMovie.
That's an iMovie, huh?
Yeah, not because I hadn't.
That looks pretty good.
You do all
must
these
have
other
that too
things
on your
you're
iMovie
looking
now
at. I thought,
too.
oh, what's this?
I think
And
we're gonna
thought,
have to play around with that a little bit. That's cool. You got
That's what I
the
thought.
epic
Did you
music
see-
was part of it.
Sorry.
The epic music was part of it.
Yeah, that was all. The only thing was
Nice.
mine was the video stuff. But did you happen to see on the credits? I don't know if you took much notice of who was in the credits and that.
I couldn't see it well. I because I'm looking at it too far away. But
I might just see if I can do it back and. Oh, God, I've got rid of it again. So hang on a sec. I'll just.
that was a pretty
Okay,
cool
I'll
little
flip-
intro.
I'll flick back to the. Here's who the credits are. I'll have a look at who's on that. So. So it's got everybody in there, you see. So
Yeah, you got a lot of people.
costume design was Target, you see.
Target,
So, and that's
Camarillo.
so everybody. But everybody got a mention in that one on what
cool.
I did there. So. But I thought it's got all that as
Oh,
well.
you should
It
put
just-
that out on YouTube on the channel. Put it on Tech Down Over channel as you playing with it. That'd be great.
But it was good. I'll just that is uploaded to YouTube. I'll just put that there because I thought, but these are the sort of things you seem to forget when you've got another tool and you
Yep.
say, oh yeah, that's. But it's just amazing what they've done with just that.
It looked great.
basic
It looked
tool.
great,
Yeah,
and
no,
it's like that intro designer, but on steroids.
Yeah, and I thought that's just iMovies, and it has all the scenes. Just drop, do that, drop that. It's got it all timed to the music. You
That's
just drop
so
a scene
cool.
in, and as I said, like that took me 10 minutes. And it was off one clip when I was coming back from your place back to Rosecrans
Yeah.
Avenue in
Yep.
El Segundo. And so I just got bits and pieces, and I don't know if you noticed one of the things that was was Tampa Avenue. I always filmed on that because that's where the
That
Bar and
Argentine
Grill
restaurant.
is. So I always remember that one whenever I see that sign.
Get off a temp and prepare to get full. And we're talking about the Buenos Aires Grill on Corbin near Nordhoff in the valley near Los Angeles. That place is good.
And just I don't know if you saw in this. This has got.
Oh,
You know of Mr. Bean, don't you?
Mr. Bean, yes.
Mr. Rowan Atkinson. Well, a few years back, he bought a McLaren F1 car for £640,000.
Wow.
And he's got the world's record for the biggest insurance payout because he did crash. Engine was up the tree and it cost £910,000 to fix.
Wow.
To fix the bill, but he was in the news this week because he sold his McLaren F1 for nearly £8 million, about $12.2 million.
Wow.
So it said, but it said when after he had his crash, it put his insurance policy up to £140,000 a year.
I get, what, if you can afford it, what is it, right?
That's right, but I thought it just sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But I thought you don't think about these things that people would insure something like that. But when it's worth $7 million, but
That's a lot of
£7.5
money.
million of pounds to sell, and it said it's an old car, and he's nearly written it off twice because he's crashed it, they've rebuilt it, and that. But it's just so strange, anyways.
Let's see. We have anything else? Hound. We've got Hound here.
Oh.
So give us a little bit of background on Hound before we start it.
Well, I was going around, and I'm still a bit skeptical. I don't know how true this is, but it looks fairly good. But Hound is a contender to an application that should contender to Siri and Cortana with the voice activation, where you ask it a few questions and it gives you a response. But I don't know if we're going to play that clip. But on that, one of the complicated questions he asked. It was
amazing.
Hound,
well, we do have the clip.
Gave him an answer, but I forgot the answer by the time the question by the time she got to the end of the answer, because I forgot about it, but she didn't. So.
All right, here's the clip.
Yeah.
What time is it in Tokyo?
It is 10:53 a.m. the next day in Tokyo.
What time is it in Tokyo when it's 2 p.m. in San Francisco, California?
It is 6 a.m. the the next day in Tokyo when it is 2 p.m. in San Francisco, California.
When is the sun going to rise 2 days before Christmas of 2021 in Tokyo, Japan?
Sunrise in Tokyo, Japan will be at 6:47 a.m. on Thursday, December 23rd, 2021.
How many days are there between the day after tomorrow and 3 days before the second Thursday of November of 2022?
There are 2,714 days between the day after tomorrow and Monday, November 7th, 2022.
What is the population and capital of Japan?
The population of Japan is 127,288,000 and its capital is Tokyo.
What is the population of capital of Japan?
The population of Tokyo is 8,336,599.
What is the population of capital of the country in which Space Needle is located?
The population of Washington, D.C. is 601,723.
What is the population and capital for Japan and China and their areas in square miles and square kilometers? And also tell me how many people live in India and what is the area code for Germany, France, and Italy?
The population is 127,288,000 for Japan and 1,330,044,000 for China, and the capital is Tokyo for Japan and Beijing for China. The area is 145,882 square miles and 377,834 square kilometers for Japan and 3,705,386 square miles and 9,596,959 square kilometers for China. The population of India is 1,173,108,018. The area code is 49 for Germany, 33 for France, and 39 for Italy.
What's the monthly payment on $1 million home?
What is the down payment?
$100,000.
Okay, using a down payment of $100,000, what is the mortgage period?
30 years and the interest rate is 3.95%.
Okay, using a mortgage period of 30 years and an interest rate of 3.95%, your monthly mortgage payment is $4,270.84.
What if the interest rate is 4.2% and the down payment is 20%?
Okay, using an interest rate of 4.20% and a down payment of 20%, your monthly mortgage payment is $3,912.14.
Show me Asian restaurants excluding Chinese and Japanese.
Here are several Asian restaurants excluding Chinese restaurants, Japanese restaurants, or sushi bars.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
It's pretty cool.
Just said if it's as good as it says it is. Oh,
sorry,
lost your background there.
There we
Rick.
go.
Oh, there we go. That's just had a behind the scenes peek. There.
That's I just jumped back into this time frame.
Yeah. But I still think if that's, but didn't it remind you with the sound of it? Didn't it remind you of Majel Barrett in
it
Star
did, but very
Trek
fast. But very fast.
It just sounded like her doing all that.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's real or not. It could be, but it seems almost fake.
Well, it does to me. It just seems too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
And because the fella doing it, he hasn't got a super duper clear. If it is doing it, it's great because he hasn't got a super duper clear English accent.
No. In fact, he's got what sounds like almost a Spanish accent.
Yeah, so he's got it. So it was picking that up quite well.
Yes.
But but I hope it's because if you did that to Siri, you said, "I'm sorry, I can't understand you."
Now the Echo, the Amazon Echo, I love it. It's really cool. They're adding a lot more functionality and features. But you ask her a question every so often, she goes, I don't know the answer to that one. I don't. Sometimes you go, oh, quit being stupid. I mean, she's really It's like there's a lot she doesn't know. So they've got to get better at the query because Google and Siri are probably better at this point. Though I think the Echo sounds better. It's got a cleaner voice, but there's still too much she doesn't know.
I keep hearing a lot about this at the Echo, and it sounds like it keeps getting better as the weeks go on. They keep updating.
They are. They've added all sorts of new stuff. Like now you can read Audible books with it, which I thought was really nice.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it sounds like it's one of those, and it's those sort of technologies that will be a bit awkward in the beginning.
Yep.
But like I've been seeing a few of these other things with the. Wired devices where you can say to switch your lights on. When we get all this connectivity, that's when it'll really take.
And I think Echo can do that now if you have one of those systems. We don't.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, I think at the moment it does, but you have to have all these expensive things plugged into the PowerPoint. I think when we get to the stage where you can plug it into the electricity system and it says, I know all the sockets in the house, tell me, switch on number 5 or call it the TV, and it will switch it on and that. But I think until we get it where places are wired to do that, but it's... it's just going to be quite strange. But then it's going to be quite worrying. You're going to say something, and all of a sudden the house is going to go into darkness. So, well, what you must have said lights off or something, like you say with Siri. Well, anytime somebody mentions Syria, she seems to activate.
That's right.
With the news, she.
They had problems with those old lights. Clap on and clap off. So you'd be sitting there going, "That's funny." Oh, let's.
Oh no.
Oh no, let's do it again. And then you said, and they go, "Hey, don't do that." Oh, they're off again. The lights keep going on and off, on and off, on and off. And so I don't know. The clapping is probably not a good indicator of how to turn your lights on and off in case people do that too often. And Alexa only comes on when you either say Amazon or Alexa, one of the two. And then she's got all these little things like, you say, Alexa, thank you. No problem. Or Alexa, thank you. My pleasure. Alexa, good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite tonight. And she has all these little sayings, and they're cute. After a while, they get very repetitive because there's not enough variation. But it's sort of fun seeing. Every so often, she'll surprise you with something. So it's sort of fun. Well, Jeff, we are at the end of our time. We've been going for about 50 minutes already. It goes fast.
It certainly does.
But this is a good show. We had lots of little cool things on it and all sorts of good stuff. I am looking forward to Windows 10. It looks good. I hope it's as good as it looks because right now it's kind of exciting. And I almost get the feeling Apple's trying to catch up desperately right now because the Windows 10 looks better as an OS.
Well, they're coming out with El Capitan now. So
yes, El Capitan. Right.
Because that's just the mountain peak in Yosemite, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's they're sort of saying, well, it's not a new version; it's just another one within Yosemite.
Tweak, yes, it's within Yosemite, so it'll be interesting. Well, Jeff, you have a great week, and next week we're going to have all sorts of good stuff too. And we may have a guest next week, so I'm working on it.
Ooh.
So I'll keep you posted on that one. But
that'd be great.
Getting people who are really interested in coming on. Oh, by the way, before we wrap up. If you haven't seen this, go to, there's a webcast called Art of the Image, or actually www.artoftheimage.com. Matt is the guy who runs it. He does great camera and gear review and just all sorts of good stuff. I like him a lot. He's out of Canada. He does a really good job and he does question and answer sessions. Take a look at him, Matt with artoftheimage.com.
I'll have to do that.
I'm going to see if I can get Matt on the show too.
Yeah, and I've been looking at some of your ones. Where the one you put me onto, Linus.
Oh, I love Linus. He's insane, but he's
full
great.
Of energy. But I'm just saying he can't have any script because nobody could write that sort of stuff.
You couldn't. He just
goes on, but he's so good. He was doing a review on the 5K Mac and showing you Windows on it and all this. I said, well, yes, it does it great, but if you're doing that, why haven't you got a cheaper Windows machine?
Yep, that's true.
It's just such a good job.
Yeah, well, good.
Anyway.
And for you people watching, go visit Jeff's site. He always has some good stuff on it, www.jeffblanchard.com. You'll have fun with it.
Yep.
Have a good one, Jeff. We'll see you next week. Oh, by the way, if you're watching the show, subscribe or hit the up or down button, preferably up. But we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.